right, here showing you what to expect now for the upcoming, that would be the 28th of May KBO slate. But first, I just want to review what happened as to let you know all the strategies, and there are various strategies, many of them to use. But as far as the basic bankroll management strategy that I'm using and highlighting within the WFF and the Discord WFF as well, consists upon this. Well, what I generally do is right now share with you a cash lineup such as this. This was the main cash lineup as I used. Actually, it's harder to see there. It's easy to see like this. I can just highlight these guys now. Despain, they were on my blog on the KBO area. You just click on the top of that, wealthyfantasyfootball.com. This was one of the top pitchers. M, unfortunately, was not one of the top pitchers, but as we see here on the WFF blog, is that I did have Tay and Wan for Samsung ranked ahead of M for Kia. So I projected him for both guys for 17. But if I would have stuck to my guns there and played Sam in that particular lineup, which did not happen, I would have went very well. But I did play him in another lineup. It happened to be this one down here. It was just a $1 double up, and there is no, here it is. It was actually a mass multi-entry. He scored 31.6 and Despain 31.2. So they had a high upside. These are both pitchers high upside for the night or for the morning this morning. So that was pretty much the only place I played Juan, I believe. No, I also played him here. I did get plenty of Juan in there. 31.6 points here in the triple up. That's considered the hedge lineup. What I did was I used the as I place in as an overview again, maybe you caught this in the last video, but that I'm placing out there a 50-50 head-to-head or double up, cash lineup. The second lineup is actually a hybrid. That's based upon constructing a lineup to hedge against that particular cash lineup in case it does not do too well. On this particular day, it did not do too well, as it scored over here, to be exact, the first column, $1.80 on a head-to-head is all it scored, even though it was entered into 3 head-to-heads, and it was supposed to have been entered into a 50-50, but it did not fill up. So what I did to combat that, even though I still cashed some there, was use the triple up hedge to go over that amount. So go over the amount plus the triple up cash amount, which was only $2. You triple that up. You can scale this up, of course, especially in Major League Baseball. When that comes around, obviously you probably want to invest more dollars, scale up, but start small like this. $5 here or there is fine. You can actually keep yourself even as far as not losing cash and then scale up. That just happens naturally when you win tournaments here or there. Your bank will increase and cut off, do the stop losses instead of consistently losing money. You will lose very little, if not anything, at any particular day or time that you play in KBO or any sport, really. And I love the fact that NHL hockey is coming back because I can use the same bankroll hedge, cash, and GPP strategy in that as well. So, another interesting thing here about just to finish up the overview or review of this morning's slate was that this guy here, Kang, is actually a first baseman for NCD. He did not start. However, he was 8% owned, as it appears a lot of people didn't get him out in time, but he still scored 18 points. So that was not the intended cash lineup. Like I mentioned, was over here. But basically, all of these lineups cash except this one here, which was only a single entry GPP, which is purposely not intended to actually, cash in every slate. But overall, very good for myself. So looking forward to the next slate here. What we have is, guys that can score because they average right here 20.4 fantasy points per game. There's a lot of different strategies that we'll basically employ. I can't go over them all right now when it comes to evaluating pitchers, getting your pitchers lined up as far as just like you see here. Over here on WFF, um, like I mentioned, Odrisamir Despain, and then Tan Wan, and then Ki Young Im. The process of actually projecting out these points, and where they went over my point total to 32 points. These guys down here specifically, I don't know exactly how they did, but these were their projected point totals. The worst projected point total even gave some guy a negative score down here due. Um, Perhaps that's what he did. I'm not sure, but all these things will be projected out, not just according to the fantasy points per game, because it doesn't really matter as far as projecting out your you know um, total projection or mine that is for the particular slate. So what else can I show you here? On the KBO, my KBO stats, you know, today's KBO games, you can look at any of these particular pictures we glanced at. It's actually here under tomorrow's games at the moment here. For example, this guy we hoped for to be better, but he hasn't turned out so well. Casey Kelly for the Twins, LG at Han. Maybe that's a good matchup. We'll definitely look at it, evaluate it. Looking at his last game, innings pitched. Six, four strikeouts, not giving the strikeout upside, but last couple games been consistent, at least in innings pitched, even though giving up 4 runs earned. So that's not good, but perhaps we'll get better. We'll have to look at that. The potential of that. He's a 30-year-old righty who's been around for some time. So, and then what I did here, particularly, there's a lot of strategies to employ with the hitters as well. Uh, what I did in particular to make sure I hedge against, not only hedge against, but also cash in on my particular triple ups. I believe they were very low owned. If I'm going to look at it here, as I took guys like Rojas, so he was 42% owned, but then I took also guys like this guy Wang Ho Zhou, well, 42% owned. So even though they weren't low owned, we also had there was one more guy. I believe it was this guy Kim, actually 100% owned for KT Wiz, or was it this guy? One of these guys were for the KT Wiz. He only had 3 points. Yeah, combined, I remember now. The three guys for the KT Wiz that I stacked combined for 25 points. So you have your 13 plus your 9 plus your 3. That's 13, 25. So if that's added up right, let me just see here. If this guy Sim was for KT Wiz real quick, just want to make sure to confirm. I believe it was a shortstop. That's correct. So he was getting me only 3 points because I basically the strategy was I put the guys up ahead of Rojas that I knew would do well up ahead of him because Rojas was batting fourth. He's a switch hitter. Ahead of him, obviously, Sim batting first. I believe he was the lefty. If not, it was Joe. So batting first, third, and fourth, you have yourself a nice stack, especially when the guy behind them, Rojas, has a good slugging percentage and drives in runs, drives in these particular guys, getting them runs as well, stacking them three together nicely for the triple up. So that's just an example of that. What you can do to look at that, data and info. And if you want to look at any of this particular a better idea, of that scenario. Look at the teams, and if we were actually, looking to stack them again, this is how you come up with it. If that turns out to be a particularly good matchup, but tonight, if it does, so be it. The KT Wiz right here, just pull up their team, and then come down here to the active roster. Look at the catchers, infielders, and outfielders section. As you can see here, Rojas batting in quite a few runs with this high slugging percentage that I'm looking for, and the guys ahead of him were impressive and very cheap as well. 2.9K for Hojo. That was a 600 slugging percentage, on base 574. I knew I wanted that in that particular pitching matchup, and also the other guy, the shortstop, Sim right here. He was doing okay. He has been doing okay this year, batting in 9 runs. 356 on base, that's fine, even though not a high slugging. That's the type of guy we want. He was also able to steal some bases already this season. So those are the kind of particular stats and matchups we're looking at. As far as any the particular guys that we're looking to stack or attack against, for example, this guy here. Let's type in somebody's name into Fangraphs real quick from the slate coming up tomorrow morning, and I give you some nice cash plays. But inside the Discords, where I'll give you the full lineups and including more advanced um, guys to play and lineups and so forth. But and especially if there's any questions in there. All right, so let's take for example, we need to go to a pitcher, taking one of the higher per average guys so far in the season. Perhaps that pitcher going up to. Let's take a look at this guy Yang for Kia. See what KT can do against him, possibly KT Wiz. So we're going to type in his name actually. It's going to be Yang Hyun into Fangraphs. Just got to locate him here. Just want to make sure we find him. Sometimes they're not available. A lot of times they are. I believe this is the guy. We'll just double check to see if he plays for Kia. As you're kind of working along with me over my shoulder, seeing what part of the process is here at least and evaluating, as I'll have to shut this down from actually being susceptible to many people, copying it and actually um, taking in the lineups and things like that, since these are not being charged for or anything, even the Discord being free. So the plan is to actually have it where you get in there for a minimal fee, look at the lineups and everything, continue to get coaching, teaching, strategy, and everything, documenting all the results, lineups. Right now, I'm about 11-5 in cash. That includes um, all the 50-50s, head-to-head, double up lineups I've been putting out there in Discord, and also the triple ups. So recently, just really within the past 3 days, it does include those triple ups that hedged against, but that's fine because a triple up is considered a cash play. So that's why the record 11-5 in cash so far. So I'm just explaining that transparently for you. And then looking at this guy, here we go. His KBO Tiger stats did come up on Fangraphs. You may have used this before for Major League Baseball if you're familiar with DFS and fantasy baseball. Um, Showing only 2007 season. I don't know why. Maybe we're in the wrong guy. It's showing a batter. Sorry about that. Get you over to the right guy. Just check his name again. Some of the names are difficult, obviously in Korean, to try to get the right one, for example, and it's not pulling up at the moment. Just want to give you an example real quick. See what I can pull up. And nothing's coming up here at the moment. But basically, I was just taking a look at it, seeing, per the Fangraphs statistics, what they're giving up as far as home runs per nine, what their K rate is. All the, information is there, free and easily accessible. They can grab onto and use to utilize to say, well, if a guy's giving up a lot of high walk rate, something like that, then we can go ahead and get guys, of course, that get on base. If the guy's not necessarily giving up a lot of home runs, we're not particularly looking for power guys. If we're looking for a stack, like I mentioned with the KT Wiz stack, you want to look at guys who can get up in the batting order in front of the guys who can really drive home uh, other guys such as Rojas. That's what we're basically looking for. And we're also looking guys that obviously they give up earned runs, that run the bases to those teams that we stack and obviously get through and get some runs in there, with especially with teams that have weak bullpens, as you can tell from the team stats, basically which teams are struggling with all their pitching staff included, their bullpens. So there's a lot that goes into this and the preparation throughout the day. So if any questions, make sure to leave a comment in the YouTube channel. That's fine, and look at that if you like, and also make sure that you get into the Discord chat so we can get into it real um, thoroughly and more advanced in a way to help you, but that's still easy for you to understand and what to do there. This guy here, Yang Hyun, was a little bit difficult to find, but sometimes, like I said, they'll be easy to find. It's just that right now the connection is just not as fast as I would like to be able to pulled up that fast, and sometimes you got to work with that. All right, so I will let you go as a real quick overview on how to work this slate or any other KBO slate, and a lot of these principles, bankroll especially important, and use the stacking scenarios that I brought out, how to do some of those throughout the baseball and really um, similar scenarios. I mean, similar uh, projection methods or strategies used in other sports as well. All right, let you go there. Have a great day.